Hey, how you doing? Welcome to the channel. Thank you for clicking on this video. I'm PaPa Bennie. PaPa Bennie. We're here in Maryland. Today is October the 1st. October the 1st, 2025 already. Um, please think about subscribing. As you see, we have very low subscription right now. Well, we just started really trying to be consistent. I'm trying to tell you, life is something. Trying to be consistent doing this is really has been a challenge, but we're going to get it. Please think about subscribing, and if you like the content, give us a thumbs up after you viewed it, or if you're in the habit of doing that without viewing it, you can go ahead and do it. We'll take it. We're not going to complain. Today, as you see, I'm going to talk about this uh, Ilhan Ilhan Omar. Uh, I listened to some of her rhetoric. That's what I'm gonna call it. I listened to some of her comments, and I really didn't care for them. And she's part of these people that has taken over Minnesota. So our last video was about Minnesota takeover. So we're going to continue on it. Um, we're going to continue on it right now. And here we go.
Joining us tonight is Democratic Representative Ilhan Omar of Minnesota. Thank you so much, Congresswoman, for joining us tonight.
Thank you for having me.
Of course, in recent news, you have France that just yesterday, along with about a dozen other countries, said that they would recognize Palestinian statehood. Does it weigh on you, or what is your response that America really remains an outlier with its allegiance to Israel?
Yeah, I mean, it is a really good news that right now about nearly 75% of UN member states have recognized a Palestinian state. It is important for the United States to engage in a process where it does lead to that recognition. And join the rest of the world. We know that it is really important for us to do everything that we can to end the genocide that's taking place in Gaza, to have humanitarian access, to stop the starvation, and finally come to a resolution to this decade-long conflict that we have seen between the people of Palestine and the people of Israel.
I really listened to how she frames her words, talking about 75% of the UN states are recognizing them, and like the United States just needs to get on board. But there's a whole lot of people who don't recognize them as a um, Palestinian state, and I don't think that we need to get on board of anything. You know, Ilhan Omar, she's Arabic. She was born October the 4th, 81. She's a member of the U.S. House of Representatives from Minnesota, 5th District, and she's part of the squad. I don't know if y'all know, she's part of this thing called the squad. Let me tell you, the squad is an unofficial name of a group of 7 progressive Democrat representatives elected in 2018, 2020, and 22 congressional elections in the United States House of Representatives. The members are AOC, of course, of New York, Omar of Minnesota, Ayanna Presley of Massachusetts, Rashida Tlaib, Michigan, Greg Cesar of Texas, and Summer Lee of Pennsylvania. Wow. I wish I could show y'all these pictures. I might, I don't know. I won't. I'll just go right here. I don't know if y'all can see them. That's them. The squad. The squad. Anyway, it's very interesting how she frames her words. It's almost as if they said an outlier. It's almost as if we're uh, a country by itself that's refuses to give in. That's the way they want you to hear it.
In reaction to some comments that you had made about Charlie Kirk and his passing, President Trump recently referred to you as scum. He went on to call your home country, Somalia, saying it was plagued by a lack of central government control, persistent poverty, hunger, terrorism, piracy. He went on. What's your response to that? And to
I can't take up for what President Trump says. I don't think everything he says is framed properly. He doesn't say everything the right way. He speaks with the very a lot of adjectives, when he's referring to something, and that's just his way. Now what he had to say about her specifically, I have no problem with it because I kind of feel the same way, to tell you the truth, when it comes to her and what she stands for and what she's doing here in the United States after escaping Somalia to come here and to hate on the United States. I don't understand that about the people from Mexico and these other countries either. Why come here from Palestine? Why come here and then hate on the USA? Go back to where, hey, why come go back over there? If that's what you love so much, don't tell us that we're doing, everything wrong. Why are you hating on us? Why'd you come here? Oh, maybe you have an ulterior motive for coming here, and it's not to support the United States. Yeah, let's gotta keep talking.
he went on. What's your response to that? And to others who have said you should go back to where you've come from?
Yeah. Well, it is disgusting for the President of the United States to disparage a country that we have devoted so much energy in helping stabilize. He certainly knows that Somalia does have a government. They're on their way.
When she says Somalia has a government that's on their way, what does she mean by that? I have no idea.
In creating some strides to make sure that they have stability, security, and economic vitality.
Wait a minute, let me back that up. On their way, and then she says to creating some strikes. What does she say?
They have stability, security, and economic vitality, but also it is important for us to recognize just how wrong, xenophobic, bigoted it is for the President of the United States to join the online trolls in saying that I should be sent back to where I came from.
So people online are trolling her saying she needs to go back. I wonder why. Is it because they don't like her lipstick or her makeup? She looks pretty good to me. I wonder why that is.
Your reaction, though, on the flip side to people who are saying, look, we often look to politicians as leaders and we need to turn the temperature down. And you've recently said that the country is being run by a bunch of idiots.
Mm-hmm.
This country has been run by a bunch of idiots. It was the last administration. It was. Matter of fact, we don't even know who was running it. That's what makes it idiotic. And here is this. I'm just going to push play again.
Well, our president is embarrassing on a national stage. You've seen.
At least she says our president, but she's talking about he's embarrassing. Sometimes he is embarrassing. Sometimes on a national stage. Trump, I like you, But sometimes you are like that.
President is embarrassing on a national stage. You've seen him not understand that members of Congress can't be impeached, as he calls for my impeachment. You've seen the chaotic ways in which he has led the country. You see him lie and not have an understanding that tariffs are a hidden tax on Americans. So it is really important for us to recognize that we're not being led by the brightest of our nation.
In the midst of this climate, you certainly have seen your own threats to your life. Does it change at all what you say? Has it changed your behavior?
There's been a correlation between the level of death threats that I have and who has been the president.
I want y'all to listen to this very, very carefully.
Trump's first presidential administration, I had one of the highest death threats for a member of Congress, and it was because the president couldn't stop invoking his xenophobia and bigotry towards not just myself, but every identity that I represent, whether it is the fact that I am an immigrant that comes from Africa, the fact that I'm Muslim and Black here in the United States. And, you know, I had 4 years of relative calmness.
I don't think Trump cares that she's African. I don't think he cares that she's Black. I don't know that he cares that she's a Muslim. But people who identify with these things, I know from being a Black man who has stopped really allowing that to put me in a box as a Black person. I know I'm Black. I don't need to go and announce it to everyone. I know I'm a Christian. I don't need to go announce it to everyone. I know I'm from Washington, D.C. I don't need to announce it to everyone. And I don't think people are going to hold it against me. And if they do, that's their problem. Even if they are the president of the United States. What difference does it make what they're doing? That, hey, what am I doing? I think if she really looked back and see, what is she doing? Why does she even come here? And what are you doing to enhance or to add to the United States of America?
Muslim and Black here in the United States. And, you know, I had 4 years of relative calmness with the Biden administration.
She had 4 years of relative calmness with the Biden administration, who allowed any and everybody to come in and out our border to do what they wanted to do once they got here. And now that some law and order is being established, now she got a problem. She said she had a lot of death threats. Trump's first election, his first run through, that she was having problems. Law and order seems to be the problem.
Shows the kind of leadership that Democrats present when they have the power. And then now we see death threats return. As soon as he got sworn in, we were swamped with death threats and bigotry in our office and almost every social media platform that you open up.
I think a lot of people start acting certain ways when Trump gets in office. I can't argue that point, but I don't hold him accountable for it. I believe they think a certain amount of freedom has just come their way because of such the suppression of speech and the suppression of actions and things that were being forced down our throat and no longer are doing that. It made me feel a little different also when Trump got in office. I felt different too. So I understand that.
Where do things stand with this looming government shutdown, with the deadline just about a little over a week away?
Yeah, I mean, you know, we have to remind the public, the Republicans control the House, the Senate, and the White House. It is important for also the public to understand that they are refusing so far to negotiate with us.
Congresswoman Ilhan Omar, we thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Now we're going to see another clip. I believe another clip of her being interviewed on another channel.
I just think it was the video.
Oh yeah, this is the one on CNN, and she says what she has to say, and they're talking about Charlie Kirk.
Where it called him Dr. Frankenstein and said his monster shot him through the neck. I mean, obviously this is a person, and looking at this is someone who was.
She said that. Dr. Frankenstein monster shot him through the neck. That's amazing.
A husband and a father, and in the days after his shocking death, that happened as a result of his views, or it happened as a result as he was sharing his views publicly with people, that people found it jarring to hear such criticism of that in the immediate aftermath of
what
someone's death.
I find jarring is that there are so many people willing to excuse the most reprehensible things that he said, that they agree with that they're willing to have monuments for him, that they want to create a day to honor him, and that they want to produce resolutions in the House of Congress honoring his life and legacy. It is one thing to care about his life, because obviously so many people loved him, including his children and wife. But I am not going to sit here and be judged for not wanting to honor any legacy this man has left behind. That should be in the dustbin of history, and we should hopefully move on and forget the hate that he spewed.
The dustbin of history and the hate that Charlie Kirk spewed.
Every single day.
Every single day. Now we can look at this Rubin report. He's going to give us a little summation of what you just heard. You know, I really wasn't into everything Charlie Kirk said. I'm not into everything no one says that's not Jesus Christ or people in the Bible. I don't think I've studied every word they said either. And I didn't say I didn't hear them. I said I didn't study them. I understand a lot of people, they lift up Charlie Kirk. I don't lift up Charlie Kirk at all. Charlie Kirk was a man who was doing what he believed he was called to do, and I was like, amen. And I look at him and say, yes, he did a great job at what God called him to do. I don't. Hey, if Paul can sit there and say, "Who is Apollos and who am I? We're no one, only Jesus," then I say the same thing about myself and even Charlie Kirk. Okay, so that don't make him. I mean, he died. He's a martyr like Stephen and Jesus and a whole lot of folks, man, have been killed for what they believe. But that don't mean we need to make monuments and all this other stuff for them. I mean, and then just later on, another group of people come and they want to tear him down, you know, because they find out something wrong, or something that the person did that wasn't right. So stop trying to build monuments for people who you think are doing right, and then want to tear down people you think are doing wrong. Stop judging people like that. Just stop it.
I'm actually somewhat speechless. And in honor of Charlie, I'm not going to say the couple words that are popping into my brain right now about her. Because although Trump might be willing to do that and hate his opponents, I'm going to honor you today, Charlie, and just try to take the nicer route. To say that Charlie should be, and Charlie's ideas should be in the dustbin of history is that's evil. I don't know what to say beyond that. Now, you know, on our side, we don't believe in violence, and we don't need to qualify it when we say that, because it's baked into the code of being an American that we can accept that people who think differently live in this country. We can accept it. They seem unable to be. Whether she should be living in this country due to her marrying her brother, we'll have more on that in just a second.
She married her brother to stay in America. That's what they say. Anyway, all that we and they, this red and blue and Crips and Bloods and Democrats and Republicans, this is ridiculous to me.
But we don't believe in violence. They do. And that first off, you know what? She said that that Charlie, in essence, was killed by his own Frankenstein monster. The idea that he helped soil the ground so that this monster who killed him, like it's basically his fault. That's the story of Frankenstein and Frankenstein's monster, right? And it's like, no, lady, you did it. You and the progressives who have confused a generation about their gender identity and radicalized them into all sorts of crazy political positions and hating themselves and hating the country. You are Dr. Frankenstein in this situation, not Charlie. Charlie was trying to undo the damage that you guys did. So again, she just needs a mirror, but we know they're never going to have it. And then the dustbin of history thing, you're going to end up in the dustbin of history, right?
What I want to talk to you about tonight is the worst example.
Bill O'Reilly's going to go into. Here we go.
And I don't like to pick on people. That's not what we're in business to do here. If I feel somebody's doing great harm to the country, obviously I'm going to go after them. But, you know, by and large, we go after movements and we go after elected people. And this person falls into that category. She's elected. But boy, oh boy, this is really something. Okay, so you heard a lot about the people who celebrated the assassination of Charlie Kirk. That's been everywhere. But the worst, I think, it's almost a tie between Ocasio-Cortez, who I deal with on my broadcast on No Spin News, and Congresswoman Ilhan Omar of Minnesota. So she shows up on Friday on CNN, and of course, CNN, this is what they do. And I don't know why they do this, but each show runs a lineup, 5 or 6 guests throughout the hour. And they pick guests who they know what they're going to say. See, when I was doing Fox, I'd have 5 or 6 guests, and I knew what their point of view was, but I wanted a variety of points of view. It was boring just to have the same point of view for an hour. I wanted very, very smart people and to challenge me. That's not what CNN does. And again, why don't they do it? I don't know why. It's much more fun to watch, much more interesting. So they book people and they know what they're going to say, and they're not challenged. So Congresswoman Omar goes on with Caitlin Collins, a big-time liberal. I think she does a 10 o'clock show at CNN, and she wails on Charlie Kirk. Well,
then we saw some of this. This is some more of it.
Tape.
There was a town hall that you had 6 days ago. You called Kirk a quote, hateful man, and you had reposted a video that I'm sure you've seen you've taken criticism for. It's a video that called him a reprehensible human being and said, Kirk was Dr. Frankenstein and his monster shot him through the neck.
Look at her head. I'm going to play this again. And watch Omar. Watch her. Ilhan. Omar, watch her head in agreement as he says, as the young lady says these things.
Shot him through the neck. Why repost that video? Kirk was Dr. Frankenstein and his monster shot him through the neck. Why repost that video?
Because there were a lot of things in the video that I did agree with. Obviously, we share videos. We don't have to agree with every single word. But I do believe he was a reprehensible, hateful man. Like, that is my view of the words that he has said about every single identity that I belong to. He didn't believe that we should have equal access to anything. He also just didn't even believe I could be smart enough. I could have thoughts that could be equal to a white man.
Now, right there, Ms. Collins should have jumped in and said, well, can you give me an example of that? Can you tell me what the quote was? Because we did this, again, on my program, No Spin News, with Ocasio-Cortez, who did pretty much the same thing, accused Mr. Kirk of being a heinous individual, who was against blacks, and and all the things that she cited, AOC, weren't true. They were totally out of context. And it's easy to do that. When you're a guy like Charlie Kirk who's going, making speeches all over the country, you have a radio program. They did it to me on CNN. They try to make me look like I was saying negative things about black women when I was actually complimenting Michelle Obama. They cut out all the complimenting and they cherry-picked one line that, wasn't even offensive, but to try, and they put me in this montage with all these other people that they say don't like blacks. And
Charlie Kirk said some things that I can see how black people thought they were offensive. I don't think it had anything to do with him, whether he cared for blacks or not.
My lawyer wrote a letter, what are you doing? We need a retraction. They said, blank you. Now, I could have sued them, but what's the point at this point in my life? I don't know. I don't know why they do this, but let's get back to Omar. So Omar, even if you believe that about Mr. Kirk, you wait until he's, it's all over. You wait.
You know, Stephen A. Smith said the same thing. Just wait, give it some time, then come out with all of your vitriol or whatever things that you want to say that's against Charlie Kirk or anyone. Give people time to grieve and then come out and beat them up instead of trying to beat them up as soon as the incident happened or as soon as the murder happened. That was a murder. That wasn't an incident. The assassination of Charlie Kirk. I'm gonna let this play and then we getting out of here. I gotta go, y'all. We have Bible study tonight. I gotta get to the Bible study.
Waiting for the
People showing up already.
funeral and the memorial service. You wait.
Can you close my
You
door?
don't dance on the grave. That's what she's doing. And I don't understand it. I really don't get it. Because she's in a district. She was born in Mogadishu, Somalia. And I'm happy that she got to the United States because Somalia, whoa, very rough. Okay? But this country took her in. And she had a very checkered social situation. I'm not going to get into it. She hates Israel. I'm not going to say she hates Jews. That wouldn't be fair, but she hates Israel. She attacks people almost every day. And, everybody's this, that. Anybody she disagrees with is the devil, the demon. But I don't know what you can be, madam, a progressive, and you can believe that the United States is not a noble country, even though we accepted you, and I assume some of your family members. You got here, you got away from the jihad, you got away from the terrorism that dominates Somalia and has for 20 years. You got away, and you come here and you go, you people, where the kids say the word S-U-C-K, well, and then a political opponent arises, Charlie Kirk, and he's dead in a violent way, and people are grieving, and then you're calling him reprehensible human being, hateful man, didn't believe I am smart enough to have thoughts equal to a white man.
I think people come here to the United States because they know they can get away with doing things. I saw this video the other night of a guy who went to a Ugandan event, and he tried to do some things there because he's here. That if he was in Uganda, they wouldn't allow. And the people at the event, the Ugandans, they didn't allow it. And there's things here that we will allow. The United States, we allow a lot of craziness and mess. I don't know why we try to appease all the people, and because it's no way you can please everyone. Someone's gonna be upset, and they chose my side, as he said, the side of the red, the side of I'm a Republican. They chose my side to not care about. This country does not care about us, my side. So anyway, y'all, we're getting out of here. I thank you guys for watching. Give us a like, give us a thumbs up. This is PaPa Bennie. Oh yeah, if you're not saved, get saved. Romans chapter 10, verse 9 and 10. I'm gonna start putting that on my screen somewhere. Romans chapter 10, verses 9 and 10. The next time you see me, I'll probably be talking about football. I'm going to be talking with a partner of mine, a friend of mine, and he's a Green Bay Packer fan. I'm a Dallas Cowboy fan. As you know, we just had the game, and it ended in a 40-40 tie. How ridiculous is that? Anyway, this is PaPa Bennie. I'll catch you guys later. Catch you on the next one. All right. Peace.